Hi everyone, hope you are doing good. Welcome to the next class. This is fragmented markets. Okay, so fragmented market means it is a fragmented. Okay, this is defined as a marketplace where no single organization has enough influence to move the industry in a single direction. So this fragmented market consists of several small medium organizations which compete with one another with a large organization. So but there is no single company that dominates the entire markets. So business generally need to establish a brand reputation that not only resonates throughout the marketplace, so but also sets it apart from its competitors. But this becomes difficult in fragmented markets. So this is the basic idea behind the concept of market fragmentation. So is that every market reflects different buyer needs and wants. So which is composed of different segments and responds differently to the markets. So these multiple sections that are characteristic of every market point towards the fragmentation of the markets. So the next one is reasons that lead to fragmented markets. So the reasons are follows: the various market needs and wants. Okay, so low level of innovation in products, no economic of scale, strong competition in the market, customization of product is high, advantages of the fragmented markets. Okay, the next one is in this reason I already said. The next one is disadvantages of the fragmented markets. So like any other market, has its own set of challenges. So this let us discuss some of the challenges faced by the kind markets. So this fragmented market business needs to be aware of the multiple platform that which can wow. Mm. Mm. Sorry, sorry. So, which can be make sure that their market strategies are consistent, frequent, and adapted to the different tones. So, this different mediums. So, if this is a fragment market, redundancy for a messages is a common issue. So, by the some of the ways overcome challenges of fragmented markets, the first one is make operations decentralized. The managers hired should be local. The firms can become a low cost producer which provide more value added services to the customers. So by this the business can specialize by customers type of and product type. So by focusing on the restricted geographic area and increase customers value through vertical integrations. So okay, so within the deep understanding of the concept, this market business have a better chance of dealing with the challenges that the market offers and thus succeed. Okay. So next one is the business models. What it means is it is a conceptual structure that supports the viability of a product or company. So which explains how the company operates and makes money and how it intends to achieve its goals. So by this, all the business process and the policies that company adopts and follows are part of business models. Okay. So and it has a definition according to Peter Drucker. Okay, according to the management guru Peter Drucker. So it is a business model is supposed to answer who is the customer is. So what value you can create or add for a customer and how you can do that at a reasonable cost. So thus the business model is a de- description of the rationale of how a company creates and delivers a captures value for itself as well as the customers. So there are three parts. The every business model intrinsically has a three parts. Okay, so the first one is everything related to the design and manufacturing products. Okay, that is first one, and second one everything related to selling product from finding the right customer to distributing the products. Third one everything related to how a customers will pay and how a company will make a money. So these are the three things of the three parts in business models. Okay, then the types of business models. Okay, the first one is manufacturer. So which means this manufacturer makes a finished products from a raw materials. So it may sell directly to the customers and sell it to a middleman. So that is another business that sells it financially to the customers. And then the second one is distributor. So which means this buy products from manufacturer and resells them to the retailers to the public. And the third one is retailers. Retailers means this sales directly to the public after purchasing the products from distributor or a wholesaler. And the next one is franchise. So franchise means this can be a manufacturer or a distributor or retailer. So instead of creating a new products, the franchise uses the parent business models and brand while paying royalties to it. The next one is brick and mortar. So brick and mortar means it is a traditional business model where the retailers, wholesaler, manufacturers deal with the customers face to face in an office. So shop and store that a business owns or rents. Next one is e-commerce. So e-commerce means it is an upgradation of the traditional brick and mortar business model. So it focuses on selling the products by creating the web based on the internet. Okay. The next one is bricks and clicks. So bricks and clicks, the company which has the both online and offline presence, allow the customers to pick the products from the physical stores while they can place the order online too. And nickel and dime. So this is the model. This basic product provide the customers is very cost sensitive. So hence this price is low as possible. So for every other services that comes with it, and a certain amount is charged so that the low cost air carries. And the next one is a freemium. Freemium means this is one of the most common business models in the internet. So which companies offer basic services to the customers for a free while charging a certain premium for a extra add ones. So there will be a multiple plans with various benefits and different customers. So generally this basic service comes with a certain restrictions, limitations, or such as in app advertisements. So this storage restriction, etc., which the premium plans shall not have. Okay. Then the next one is subscription. The subscription means it is acquisition of cost are high. So the business models might be most suitable option. This subscription business models lets you customer over the long term contract get recurring revenues from them and through repeat the purchases. Okay. The next one is aggregator. Okay. Next one is aggregator. So which means this business model is recently developed and model where the company's various service providers for a niche and sell their services under its own brand. So this money is earned as a commission. For examples, this is Uber, Oyo, like that. Okay. The next one is online marketplace. So this aggregated different sellers into a online into a one platform when then complete each other with provide a service, say same service or product services which is in a competitive prices. Then the next one is advertisement. So these business models are evolving even more with the rise of the demand for the free products and services. So just like that at earliest times. So these business models are popular with media publishers like YouTube, Forbes, etc. Okay. And the next one is data licensing, means data selling. So with the advent of the internet, there has been an increase in amount of data generated upon the users activities. So this has led the advent of the new business models. So the data licensing business model, many companies like Twitter and One Signal Cell, this license the data of its users and user of the third parties which then use the same for analysis. The next one, agency based. So this can be considered as a partner company with specialist in handling non-core business activities, which is advertising, digital marketing, ORM, PR, like that. So this company partners will several other companies that outsource their non-core task to them and is responsible to maintain a privacy efficiency in their work. The next one, affiliate marketing. So this affiliate marketing business model is a commission based model where the affiliate builds its business around the promoting a partner's product, direct all its efforts to convince its followers and the users to buy the same. So in return, the affiliate gets the commission for every sale referred. The next one is drop shipping. So this is a type of e-commerce business model where the business owns no product or inventory but just a store. So the actual product is sold by the partner seller who receives the order as soon as the store receives. So an order from the ultimate customers. The next one is network marketing. This is also a multi-level marketing which involves a pyramid structure network of a people who sell a company's products. So the model runs on a commission basis where the participants are remunerated when. Then the next one is crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing means so based on this they make a sale of companies products. This recruits make sale of products and network marketing business models on a direct level. So this crowdsourcing business model involves users to contribute the value provided. So the business model is often combined with other business and revenue modes. So to create an ultimate solution for the users to earn money. Next one, peer-to-peer catalyst or a platform. So this the economy is a decentralized internet-based economy. So where two parties interact directly with each other to buy or sell the goods, to conduct transaction without the intervention of third party. Okay, they will buy and sell the good by the internet. Then blockchain is it is immutable, decentralized, and digital ledger. Sorry, it is a digital database that no one owns, but anyone can contribute. So many business are taking this decentralized route to develop their business models. This is based on blockchain or are not owned or monitored by a single entity. So rather, they work peer-to-peer instructions and record everything on a digital decentralized ledger. The next one is SaaS, IaaS, PaaS. So many companies have started offering their software platform infrastructure. So as a service business model works on a principle as you pay, you go where the customer pays for is huge of such software. So this platform infrastructure he pays for what, how many features he has used and not for what he has not. Then high touch means this is the model on one which requires lots of human interactions. So this is a relationship between the salesperson and the customers has a huge impact on overall revenue of the company. So the companies with this business model operate the trust and creditability. And finally, it is a low touch. This means the opposite of the high touch model. So the low touch model requires minimal human assistance. Okay, in selling products or service, since a company you do not have to maintain a huge sales force, your costs decrease, and though such companies are focused on improving technology to further reduce the human interventions while taking the customer's experience better at the same times. The next one is business models. How do you decide which model to adopt? So we have seen the business models are in 27. So by this, how do you decide which business model to adapt? So before you can start turning your idea into a full-fledged business, there are several questions you need to ask yourself, because the answers will give you a better sense of a direction and help you determine right approaches. So here are the crucial aspects you need to take a consideration. The aspects which are follows. The first one is target market. First you have to find your target market. Before you move any further, you first need to test whether your idea is actually viable. So research your target market to get a scope of your possible customers and make sure that there is a need which your product or service can satisfy. So if few people are interested in what you have to offer, or people don't want what you are offering, means it is the best to go back to the drawing board. Then the next one is a competition. So competition means when entering a specific market, it is vital that you understand who you will have to face off against. So check to see how many people are already doing what you want to do. So and how successful they are. So then think about what is it you can do better. So how can you and add more value. So what will make your business stand out. So having some competition is actually good thing. So it proves that your idea has merit, and that is there is indeed a demand for the type of the product you are planning or creating. Then the next one is potential customers. So although you won't be able to rely on the data, you will you until you have been in a business for a while. So it helps to create a mental image of your ideal customers. So think about who exactly is it that you want to serve. So what are their demographic interest, major problems they are facing. Okay, once you have clearer the image who your potential customers are, it is much easier to figure out how best to approach your target markets. Then the next one is revenue streams. So this is a big idea that make you decide the start business in the first place. So will be your main source of revenue. So however, you should also consider what other possibilities there are to add a multiple revenue streams. Okay. For instance, you might include other products that you can offer as upsells and cross sells. The next one is what is the value you bring to the market. So by this is another question, and this how much value does a potential customer gain from the solution. So does it help them financially solve the burning problems they have been struggling with for years? Will it enable them to get a step closer to achieving one of the goals? So if you are only focused on the what business models will be most for you, the neglect of the customers you will bound to fail. The customers are the lifeblood of every business, and their wants and needs have to be at the very center of the business. So, understanding the customer's desire will help you determine how best to approach the sales and what price they will be willing to pay. So, it is simple matter of understanding how much specific problem cost your audience. So, what are the returns they expect to get by investing in your solutions? Then the next one is the business model canvas. So an extremely useful tool you can leverage while choosing your business model is the business model canvas. So this concept was first developed in a book of business model, Alexander Osterwalder. Okay, so this helps up and coming entrepreneurs clearly define all the different aspects of the business. So it also gives you a clear visualization representation of your business, which will be valuable resources throughout your entrepreneurial journey. Okay, so utilizing the business models canvas as a template, you can refine an existing model to best suit your needs and to create your own ideal business models. So this canvas highlights the vital aspects of the business. So what are the highlights we gain in? The first one is infrastructure. So this is consisting of a key business activities, key sources necessarily for creating and providing value of the customers and your business partners. Okay. Then the offer. Offer means your value propositions. Okay. So on the other word, the products and services you have offering to the customers. Here you can also include a price point and the main benefits they receive, as well as add feedback later on that will help you refine and perfect your offers. Then the next one is customers. So here you should include everything you know about your target audience, market, potential existence, customers. The information will be of immense help with determining which marketing strategies or channels are utilized in order to maximize the results. And the next which we're going to see is examples of business models. The first one is product or service model. So this is by hook and bait. Okay, so when most people think of a business, they envision a company selling products and services. So it is no surprise that creating or selling your own products is approach most people most of the people lean towards. So the model of actually quit board is a reality, can encompass one or more other business models. So the main advantage of this model is flexibility, which is lack of restrictions. Okay, then the second one is resellers. So it is a magic, right? So which it means the model is the polar opposite of the previous one. Here you won't actually create and even own any of the products that will sell to your customers. So instead the business model revolves the representing a company brand and turning a profit by promoting their offers to your target audience. Then third one is ad based models. So this is also extremely effective to be successful and a portfolio. This business model requires you have to large customer base audience. So at the core of the model is the idea of providing free products or services. And then fourth one is subscription based model. So this business model is typically employed by the software companies and app based business. Okay, rather than offering their product as one of purchase, companies using this model can enjoy recurring revenue in the form of monthly payments. So another main advantage of this model is easier and compared to some other models. So customer acquisition retentions. Then the next one is on demand. So this business model was largely birthed out our need for instant gratification in a world dominated of technology. So okay, so we have gotten quite used to having all information at our fingertips just a click away. Next one is a broker. So, okay, the broker business model, mainly known as capitalize on the physical distance between the sellers, their customers. So, it revolves around the providing platforms where buyers and sellers can congregate, facilitating their interactions. So, the company handles the transaction and ensures security. So, this revenue is typically generated by applying small fees to the transactions. So, some of the best known example of these models are Amazon PayPal. The next one is freemium. So the business model applies a clever strategy of drawing customers with the free products. So while making certain features of exclusively available a premium paid users, although the core products is a free. So it is either limited in a functionally or a premium license offers quite a few advantages. The next one is strategic mix. So strategic mix means it is a tool that provide easy access to the solutions applied in the case studies. Okay. So each case study has been deconstructed, filtering our important information on the main constraint, corresponding solutions of the business models. So based on this, the strategy matrix allows readers to learn about experiences from the certain case. So with an increasing level of detail, starting at the board categories and constraints and solution approaches and ending it in a full length case study. So in this way you can zoom in on the challenge innovation that is most relevant to the specific solutions. The next one is pricing strategy mix. So what it means, the pricing strategy is a tool that is used to determine the best price for the products and services. So this refers to the method business used to decide this right price for their service and products. So almost all organizations base their businesses on the cost of production labor. This is to then add the certain percentage to make a profit. So the main factor here is COGS, cost of goods sold. Okay. So these pricing strategies also take into account many business factors such as turnover targets, target audience, brand positioning, brand product features, these marketing goals. So in addition, prices are influenced by external factors such as customer demand for a specific product, competitor pricing, and overall economic and market trends. So what are the pricing strategies? So what are the pricing strategies which we know? These are the approaches an organization use to price their products and services correctly and in line current market demand. Okay, so discover the optimum. You will have to consider the number of factors when you are setting your price. So your target consumers, your financial strategic products, brand marketing objectives, and your core business objectives. Okay, these are the, and next one is a pricing strategy mix. One sec, please. So mainly the pricing strategy matrix means it shows how different level of price and quality combine to form commonly used pricing strategy. Okay, so the pricing strategy mix matrix used in this article derived from a paper. Okay, then detailing about pricing policies of new products. And this the first one is economy pricing. So economy pricing means this is only works substantially when you have a lower overhead and cost than your competitors. So your low cost base allows to sell the at a discount price so that you can give a high market share. So advantages, this helps companies to survive during the times of economic instability, as it allows them to set lower prices to appeal the customers who are squeezed financially. Okay, then the disadvantage is known as the smaller business that use economy pricing may struggle to remain profitable, as they are less likely to achieve the volume of the sales needed for the strategy to be successful. Then the next one is price formation with the pricing strategy matrix. So which means it determining the right price for the product requires more consideration than just adding the cost of production. So the real question with determining right price is how much the customer is willing to pay the products. The prices doesn't have a lot to do with the cost. So while it has everything to do with the value of the customers attract to the product or services. So for a simple thing. Okay. Then the next one is price elasticity. Price elasticity means it is a measurement in economics that is used to indicate how sensitive the demand for a product and if the price were changed. So this is indicated as a percentage change in the demand quantity for a product or service in response to price change on 1%. Okay. Then an of matrix. Okay, so this is also called a product market expansion grid. So it is a tool used by firms to analyze plan their strategies for growth. This market shows four strategies that can be used to help firm grow and also analyze the risk associated with each strategy. So which is learn more strategy in the CFI. Okay. Next one is understanding the ANOF matrix. So the matrix which was developed and applied mathematician business manager H. Iger ANOF. Okay, so it was published in Harvard Business Review 1957. So this helped many marketers and lenders understand the risk of growing their business. There are four strategies. The first one, market penetration, so which means it is focused on increasing sales of existing products. Okay, then product development means it focused on introducing new products to one existing markets. And third one, market development, so its strategy focuses on entering a new market using existing products. Then fourth one, diversification, so it focuses on entering a new market with the introduction of new products. Then the next one is the ANOF matrix full detail. Oh, this is the market penetration. So in the market penetration strategy, the firm is used to, I already said, they will make a use of a products in the existing products. Okay, so in other words, the firm is aiming to increase the market share with the market penetration strategy. So this strategy done in number of ways: decreasing prices to attract the customers, increasing promotion distribution efforts, acquiring a competitors in the same marketplace. Then the next one is product development, so which means this is the firm develop new product to cater to the existing markets. So the move typically involves extensive research and development and expansion of the product range. The product strategy development strategies employed when firms have a strong understanding of their current market, and we able to provide innovative solutions to meet the needs of the existing markets. Next one is the market development. So this means the firm enters a new market with their existing products. So in this context, expanding into new market may mean expanding into new geographics, customer segments, regions. So the market development strategy is most useful. The firm owns property technology that it can leverage into new markets. The consumers in new market are profitable, and consumers behavior in the new market does not deviate too far from the existing markets. So the market development strategy can done in number of ways, based on catering to a different customer agent, entering into a new domestic market, entering into a foreign markets, and sporting companies such as Nike, Adidas, etc. Okay, then diversification. Okay, the diversification means this is the firm enters a new market with a new products. So although such a strategy is a riskiest, as a market or a product development is required, and a risk can be mitigated through related diversification. So there are two types of diversification in a firm can employ. The first one is related diversification, second one is unrelated diversification. So there are potential synergies to be realized between the existing product business or a new product market. And second one is unrelated diversification. So there are no potential synergies to be realized between existing business and new product markets. Then grand strategy matrix dimensions. So there are two dimensions. Okay, the first one is market growth, second one is competitive positions. So all possible strategies are included in four quadrants. Four quadrants. Okay, in the first one we're gonna see the first one. So this is in the four quadrants. The first one is a grand strategy matrix, which indicate organization has a strong competitive positions. Okay, so there is a rapid growth rate in the market. The organization that lies the first quadrant has the excellent strategic position. And the second one means it which highlights the organization has weak competition situation. So there is a fast market growth, and the organization that lies in the second quadrant so should evaluate its current strategy. And third one is it a grand strategy matrix specifies that organization has the weak competitive situations. Okay, so in the industry slow growth and holds weak competitive positions. The fourth one is highlights that organization has strong competitive situations. The market growth rate is slow. So by this that lies in a fourth quadrant has strong competitive positions, but the industry in which organization related is a slow growth. So the based on So based on this, the first quadrants, the same. I'm gonna. So okay, the first quadrant, under this first quadrant, what are the strategies means market development, product development, market penetration, backward integration, forward integration, horizontal integration, concentrated diversification. Under the second quadrant means same market development, product development, market penetration, backward, no backward integration. Okay, in this is horizontal integration, liquidation, diversification. Third quadrant means horizontal diversification, concentrating, and conglomerate diversification, retrenchment, liquidation. Already we have seen the what is retrenchment strategy, right? So then the fourth one is horizontal diversification, joint ventures, concentric diversification, conglomerate diversification. So every organization must fall in any one of the four quarters. So the organization that lies in a first quadrant must adopt those set of strategies that are specified in the quadrant. Similarly, the organization that lies in a second quadrant must adopt the given set of strategies in that quadrant. So in the same manner, the organizations lie in a third and fourth quadrant must follow the set of strategies of a third and fourth quadrants respectively. So based on this, the factors affecting strategic choice. So, okay, which means this choice is a mental process of selecting the best or a most appropriate strategy from the stock alternatives. So which serves the enterprise objectives. This choice taken place in not thin air, but the framework of a different reference made up of a variety of elements, and choice made is a product of the basic elements that work in a framework. So this is broadly speaking, strategic choices are result of elements like a judgment, bargaining, analysis, among other things. Okay, some of the factors determining strategic choices which are follows. So some of the factors under this: environmental constraints, dynamics, intra-organizationals. It will be in the next page, I think so. Okay, we'll move on to selective measures. So mainly the selective measures directly or indirectly means first one is a managerial perception of external dependence. Okay, what it means. So it is first the way of looking of the corporate planners towards the external dependency, larging affects the strategy choice of the firm. So because no firm can work with isolation, so it is dependent on external entities and external environment. Okay, this is based on survival. Growth of a firm largely depends on the roles played by its competitors. Okay, the next one is the second one is managerial inclination towards the past strategy. Mhm. Sorry for the interruption. So, our inclination of a corporate planners towards the past strategies of the firm result in a situation where past strategy becomes the starting points of the future strategic choice. So, which means elimination of some strategic choice of maintenance functional continuity. So, this is by managers being extremely overburdened with the functional responsibility in a competitive market. So, which fail to appreciate conceptual and operational discontinuous. They prefer to do work within the extrapolated domain of the existing strategies. And the next one is risk taking attitude to the managers. So this is screening and strategic alternatives takes place at the value of the base of the top executives, and of the most important values is a propensity of take risk. So for risk taking manager, the set of alternatives, the superset of the set This is generated by risk avoiding managers. So this avoiders underestimate the strengths of the firm and overestimate the weakness. Next one is managerial power relationships. So this are key realities in the life of any business firm is pointed out by Junk and Glenk. So this is development of strategic alternatives. Choice of strategy depend largely on managerial power relationships of the top executive. Is all powerful and floated an idea of strategic alternatives. There will be immediate acceptance and appreciation from other executives irrespective of the merit of the suggestions. So this is according to the organization power, which plays a lead to three types of situation in which strategic choices are made. So under the extreme concentration of a power, the choice is made in a single individual mind is also known as a judgmental process. So influence of lower level managers, so which means though top management makes a final strategic choice, which is yet lower level managers influence the choice process in a significant way. So which is the bower, the final strategy choice is never based on the strategic alternatives, so which is subordinates limits the strategic alternatives at different levels by doing a lot of filtering before they go to the top. So the next one is organizational structure. So an organization is having a culture of its own. So this organization culture is made of a set of shared values, beliefs, attitudes, customs, norms, and personalities. So the successful functioning of an organization depends on strategy, culture matching. So in case of a mismatch between the strategic choice and a cultural framework of an organization, either one is to be redefined. Then lastly, organizational politics. So which what it means, every organization is a political organization. So only the degree of politician varies from the organization to organization. Okay. So this is a lower, highly policized organization, which is manufacturing eats away the precious times. So this is a minimization of resource computation among the managers can considerably reduce the political activities of an organization. So this reduction can be achieved through emphasis given an external objectives. So cash should also be taken to split the most dysfunctional political groups. So which is prevent the managers from the mode of operation through personalization if needed. So the executives engaged in politicized operations be removed. So by this class is over. We'll meet you on a next class with the next topic. Until take care all.